Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky, and I'm joined by the one and only MMA Milo, who is not only an emerging MMA analyst, but is also one of the best up-and-coming amateur surfers in the world. In today's episode, we're going to break down everything that's about to go down at UFC on ESPN 64, Moreno versus Erceg. And Milo, let me state right out the gate, this is an incredible fight card. I am incredibly excited. I think, when you look at Brandon Moreno, he's a two-time former champion who is still in his prime, who can still make another run at the title. And he's fighting against another top-ranked contender in Erceg. So this is an interesting matchup, and there's good fights all the way up and down the main card, all the way up and down the prelims. I would give it an A- for a fight night card. How would you rate this overall card?
I agree. I think I'm just going to give it a flat out A.
Yeah, which fight are you most excited about?
Definitely Steve Erceg versus Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, this one's excited, and let me break it down. What I think is going to happen here, and then you give me your input on that. So when we look at both fighters, I mean, when you look at Brandon Moreno, and let's maybe look at it this way: if you ask any fighter in the UFC, who is your favorite fighter? They're going to give you one or two answers. They're going to say it's either Justin Gaethje or Max Holloway. But if you ask the fighters' moms who their favorite fighter is, they're going to say Brandon Moreno. He is probably the most likable guy in the UFC. I remember after he won his first title, I think it was on Instagram, different fighters are showing pictures of their cars and, kind of lifestyle, which is fine. That's cool. But Brandon Moreno is in the Lego store with his daughter. And
Yeah.
he's just, that grounded, very likable guy, easy person for whom to root. And he just happens to be one of the best fighters in the world as well. And when you look at his skill set, he comes in with a lot of pressure. He's incredibly technical. He's very precise. He mixes up everything pretty well. He usually has a smart game plan, and he pushes a really good pace. He has no cardio issues whatsoever. You can see he really, pushes it in his training as well. This guy, has, the heart of a lion. He will go out on his shield. And this is a tough matchup for Steve Erceg. Now, when you look at Erceg, he's really fluid, right? He's a really good grappler. He's a good striker as well. He transitions from kicks to punches very fluidly, and he had a shot at the title. Now, he lost, but also to the same person against whom Brandon Moreno lost in Pantoja. But then he also lost most recently to Kai France. Now, these are the top echelon of the division, and I think Brandon Moreno is too much. I think he is going to put a pace on him, and I think he's going to just, walk away with the decision. I think it'll be maybe 50-45, maybe 49-46. Not that Steve Erceg, I think, is still a contender. I just think Brandon Moreno is that good, and I think there might be a little bit of a gap here. So give me Moreno by decision. Milo, how would you break down this fight, and who do you see winning and why?
I agree. I think Moreno's wrestling is just gonna be too much for Steve. I think I would have thought differently if it wasn't for his loss against Kai France. But I think I'm just gonna go Brandon Moreno by third round submission.
So you think Moreno's the better grappler? Because I know
Yeah.
Steve Erceg is, has a really good grappling pedigree, but you think Brandon Moreno's wrestling is even better?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think so.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Um, and then let me look at the odds here just real quickly. So Brandon Moreno is a minus 238, and that's moved a little bit. It was closer. I think he was around a 180, 190 or something. I think this is more appropriate for the odds. I mean, it could still be a really close fight, but I do think Brandon Moreno is going to put a pace on him. But a great matchup. I think this is the perfect matchup for both guys in this
Yeah.
division. All right, moving on in the co-main event, Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. Drew Dober is a minus 195 favorite. Plus money is Torres is at plus 150. Really good main event because you know what? Somebody's going to get knocked out. And, Torres, he's long, he's lengthy, he hits hard, great striking. He was on a little bit of a run, but he ran into Bahamondes, who put him out in that last fight. But he had his moments as well. And the dude hits hard. Now, so does Drew Dober. Drew Dober hits really hard. And when you look at his recent losses, they're against, top 10 guys, and then he beats maybe top 15 guys. The one problem is that Drew Dober is 36.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be the problem. He's tough as nails. He hits hard. But give me Manuel Torres by third round TKO. What do you think, Milo?
I think I'm gonna go Drew Dober by third round TKO.
Oh, you think he's still got enough left in him?
Yeah.
See, I think no matter what happens, somebody's going to get knocked out.
I agree.
All right. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. This is another fun fight. I think, let's see, Ronaldo, he's the minus 170 favorite. That's a little surprising. I think I'm favoring Borjas in this fight. He's a really good boxer. I can't remember, but I believe he was, some boxing champion in Peru. I can't remember the specifics about it. I mean, I don't follow boxing at all, but he does have a good boxing pedigree. We've seen him strike pretty efficiently and effectively in the UFC. I think this is a good matchup, but give me Borjas for the upset decision win. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think I'm gonna go Ronaldo by decision.
Decision. All right. Next up, another good fight on this card. We have Joe Pyfer, who has one of the worst nicknames in the sport, Body Bags, which I think is pretty lame. But the dude hits hard, and he hits harder than just about anybody in the division. Probably does hit harder than anybody in the division. He comes in at a minus 310 favorite against Kevin Gastelum, which is interesting because Gastelum has fought the who's who of the middleweight division, and he's been right there. It looks like he has fallen off a little bit. It took him a little longer to outpace Daniel Rodriguez, who I believe was 38 out at the time after missing weight. So that is a little concerning. So you're going to be concerned about Gastelum's, conditioning, his motivation, and so forth. But he's still only 33 years old. But he also has a lot of wear and tear on his body. He's been in all the big fights against everybody. But here's the thing: Joe Pyfer hits hard, and if he's not going up against somebody who's going to completely grapple with him the whole time, I think he's going to have his way in the cage, and I think he's going to have his way with Gastelum. He's going to be faster, he's going to hit harder, and I think he's going to be more dialed in. Gastelum, could still have his moments, but give me Joe Pyfer. And Gastelum doesn't get put out, but I think he's going to get put out here. Third round TKO by Joe Pyfer. What do you think?
I'm gonna go. I agree with you for Joe Pyfer. I'm just gonna go Joe Pyfer by decision.
Joe Pyfer. Oh, so okay, you think he's gonna? What do you like about Joe Pyfer that you see? What specific areas that you see he has the advantage?
He's like really like dominant when he fights. Just like runs the guy over and knocks him out. I've seen him every fight I've seen him fight. It's been a knockout.
Yeah, he's got that crazy power, but he's going to have. You're thinking it's that durability of Gastelum and that veteran savvy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have David Martinez versus Saimon Oliveira, and I'm just looking at it right now. Martinez, he is 11-1. Oliveira, 18-5. Oliveira is 0-2 in his first two fights in the UFC. And I just want to bring up something about Martinez's finishing. He's 26. He's a bantamweight, and has 9 out of 11 knockouts, which I think is pretty insane. And he's coming off a decision win, though, in the Contender Series. I think this is a pretty fun scrap, but give me Martinez by knockout.
What round?
Oh, yeah, second round.
I think I'm gonna agree with you. That's what I was gonna go.
Awesome. And can you bring up the odds? Or let me see if I can find the odds here.
The odds aren't up on UFC.
Okay, so I'm looking somewhere else. So let me see real quickly. Okay, so wow. So Martinez a minus 395 favorite.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, now this next fight, I'm excited about this fight. It should be higher up on the card. It's Raul Rojas Jr. versus Vince Morales, and Rojas comes in at a minus 375 favorite. I think Rojas gets way too much heat. The dude is, I believe, like 20 years old. He started in the UFC at 18. He's won every fight except one. And let me just check. Yeah, he's 10-1. He's an incredible athlete, and I think he gets heat because once in a while he'll say something that might be immature. But guess what? The dude's 20 years old. I mean, the brain isn't fully myelinated till 26. He's got some time. Milo, you're 17. How often do you say stupid stuff?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. Yeah. How much would your dad say you say stupid stuff?
Probably a lot.
Yeah. He tells me every day. So, but that's the nature of being a teenager, right? So I think anybody giving this kid heat, they got to back off. He's a good dude. Just like wants to buy his mom a house, and he's got an incredible skill set. He's going against Vince Morales, and let me just check the age here. I think Vince Morales is a little older now. Let me just double check here. Um, Clicking on it, it's not. Can you find out Vince Morales' age? Um, and as you do that, let me just say, I think Rojas is going to put a pace on him. I mean, he did gas in his one loss. I mean, he was just like too aggressive. I think he's a little more methodical now. But I think somebody with this raw skill set is just going to keep getting better and better and better. And I mean, I love his upside. I think he's a remarkable talent. Doesn't have the
34 years
greatest.
old.
What's that? 34 years
34.
old.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the age you really start to fall off a bit. And against somebody like Rojas, who's just has all this energy, and for some reason, I mean, he's beating fighters in the UFC. He's muscling some of these guys around, which is pretty crazy for a young dude. Give me Rojas by third round submission. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Rojas by decision.
By decision. Any interesting takes? Like, how do you think it's going to play out? Or is it going to be dominant? Is it going to be
I don't think it'll be dominant, but I think he'll get it done.
okay?
Chiwiwi.
Chiwiwi. Oh yeah, you check out our Chiwiwi video. We have 35,000 views on it. So
Yep.
yeah, check it out because it does reveal the hidden meaning of Chiwiwi. So check out our YouTube shorts. Check out Chiwiwi, and you're going to learn something that you never thought you would learn before. All right. Next up, Edgar Chairez versus CJ Vergara. Chairez is a minus 270. I think that's a little wide. I think this fight's a little closer. I do think Chairez is going to win. He's a pretty good boxer, but he's also very hittable. Speaking of hittable, CJ Vergara is hittable, but he's pretty tough. I think he can withstand the onslaught. I think this will be a fun fight. I think this will be a good action slot, but an action fight. Give me Chairez by a pretty high volume decision. What do you think, Milo?
I agree.
So you think Chairez by decision?
Yep.
All right. Next up, Jose Medina versus Ateba Gautier. Ateba is a minus 470, and this dude looks like an absolute beast. Now, it's interesting when you come into the UFC, you never know how good somebody is. We see people get fraud checked all the time, right? And let me see something real quick. I just want to get his age. He is 6-1. Medina's 11-4. Medina's more of a journeyman. I believe he's 33. I think Ateba is like 26 or so, but I think this is going to get done. It's going to get done early. Give me Ateba by second round TKO. What do you think, Milo?
I'm gonna go Ateba by first round knockout.
All right. Next up, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Melky Costa. I absolutely love this fight. This should be on the main card. I mean, this is an incredible fight. I like both guys. Christian Rodriguez, he's the one who beat Rojas Jr. And let me just pull up these odds right here. Sorry, I'm looking for it. Okay, this is close. Rodriguez is a minus 148. Now, Rodriguez is a very good grappler. He's really technical. He's really smooth in his transitions. And, he's very methodical too. But he always misses weight. And he tends to miss weight by a lot. So when you think about that, it's like, where are you on your dedication, your mindset, and so forth, which does play a role when you're, in a sport that is decided in a matter of inches, or just a small decision here or there, or just just small things. And when I look at this, Melky, he's very fluid, and he's looked really, really good striker, really good kicks. Reminds me kind of like Steve Erceg a little bit in terms of how he blends the kicks and the punches so well and so fluidly. Fun to watch. I think the odds are off on this. I'm taking Melky by a decision. I think Rodriguez might pull maybe a round out because he can get him on the ground. If he gets him on the ground, he can probably control him there. But this is, again, another really good fight on this fight card. So Melky by a really fun decision and an intriguing fight. Milo, what do you think is going to happen here?
I'm gonna disagree. I think I'm gonna go Rodriguez by decision.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's going to happen in that manner?
Just because like that win over Chewy.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive win. It's a win that's going to age incredibly well, and he does have, a really good skill set. All right, next up we have Rafa Garcia versus Vince Pichel. Now, if this fight was 5 years ago, my opinion would be totally different. Rafa Garcia is a minus 485. And Rafa Garcia is kind of just an average fighter in the UFC. And Vince Pichel used to be a very good fighter in the UFC. The problem is Vince Pichel is 42 years old. And I think Garcia is like, I mean, somewhere between 30 and 30, 33, so somewhere around there, alternates wins and losses. He's a good grappler. He's got some grappling game, but, has been really up and down. I just think Vince Pichel is just way too old. I kind of, even though these odds are a little surprising, I do agree with them, just given the age gap, right? And so I am going to take Garcia by, give me Garcia by third round submission.
I think I'm gonna go Garcia by a first round knockout.
Oh, wow. Okay. Think he's going to catch him. You think Pichel's chin is gone now at
Yeah,
42?
he's too old.
Yeah. And he's slowed down a lot too. So, you can get somebody who might not be the most technical striker can catch you, right?
Yeah.
Um, all right. Next up, Jamall Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Emmers is a minus 340 favorite. Now, Miranda is a grappling specialist, and he's kind of like a throwback, when you had, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, and that's all they did. They wanted to look for subs on their back. They wanted to, um, you know, if they got in a bad position, they were fine just, kind of laying there waiting to catch you, which is just kind of not what you need to do in today's MMA, particularly against guys who are more well-rounded. Now, Jamall Emmers, he is well-rounded, but he is a better striker than he is a grappler. He's going to want to keep it on his feet, watch for Miranda to want to pull guard, and Emmers should just not take the bait. And if he doesn't, this should be a pretty easy fight for him. Give me Emmers by second round knockout.
I'm gonna go Miranda by submission.
Oh, you think he's going to catch him?
Yeah.
How so? And in what round? It's possible.
Um, I think I'm gonna go third round submission at the last second.
Oh, you think he's? Do you think he's going to be getting worked the whole time, but he's just finally going to
Yeah.
get into the ground or something?
Yeah.
Awesome. Kind of like that Paul Craig against
Yeah.
Magomed Ankalaev.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, all right, two more fights to go. Loopy Godinez versus Julia Polastri. Godinez is a minus 238, and I think Godinez is going to walk all over her. Godinez is really, really good. Her losses are coming against top 10 fighters. I think she's incredibly talented. Sometimes she doesn't make the best decisions in the cage. She's good everywhere, though. She's got, she's a good striker with really good speed, good grappling. I believe her sister's like an Olympic wrestler. So must run in the family. But give me Godinez. I think she's might get the stoppage here. Give me Godinez by third round TKO. Decision. All right, that's probably more likely. So we'll see when we recap this, and then opening the card. Let me see. We have Austin. Let me just see who this is. We have Austin. Oh, not Austin. Austin Hubbard versus Markel Medeiros. I don't really know much about Medeiros. Austin Hubbard, we know about him. He's been around for a while. He comes forward. He can fight anywhere, but he doesn't excel in any one thing. He's just an all around decent fighter, but not a great fighter. Has some good kicks, some decent strikes. Doesn't have a lot of power. Let me just check his age because I think he's getting pretty old now. My connection is lagging here on my phone, so I think he's a little bit older. Milo, can you check? I think he's like 34, 35, and even though I don't know as much about Medeiros as I should, I think Medeiros is going to win by decision. Do you have a Hubbard's age? 30. Okay, maybe not too bad. Maybe he's got another year. For some reason I felt he was a little older, but yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, now let's do our kicking it with Milo section. We have two more sections: kicking it with Milo and Kook of the week. Milo, everybody knows you're one of the top up and coming surfers in the world, but you've been snowboarding a lot and you've been getting injured. Um, Tell me about one of your most recent injuries. Yeah, yeah. Was your dad happy with your decision to go snowboarding right before a not big contest? I think that's hilarious. All right, our final section, kook of the week. My kook of the week. It's I'm trying to think of the fight. It was the last fight. It was of last week. It was the ref. So this fighter kept grabbing the cage. I think it was the dude who was bit before. For some reason, his name. I'm drawing a blank on his name. But the ref kept saying, "Stop grabbing the cage! Stop grabbing the cage! Stop grabbing the cage!" Ref, take a point. You want him to stop grabbing the cage, take a point, right? It's different if it's an accidental nut shot, right? That happens, right? Guys move and like that's going to happen and that's more inadvertent. If you grab the cage, that's a foul. That's a violation. You need to stop that right away. And I don't think there should be warnings for cage grabs. I think you grab the cage, you grab the cage, you get a point. It should be automatic. So that dude, and I can't remember what ref it was, but that dude is my kook of the week. Milo, do you have a kook of the week? Oh, I heard there was some controversy there. I don't watch boxing at all, and I don't even click on boxing highlights even when I get those in my feed. So I remember there was some controversy. So that's what it was. Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with boxing. It's just it's about as shady as it gets. But anyways, yeah. Any other anything else you'd like to add? All right. No last word. What is it? There you go. We're out.